Have you ever sat and wondered?
I wonder how I can tell if these are in good shape or not. Actually.
No worries, I'm going to show you how to grade a comic book today. Okay, here is where we're going to look at a few comic books of mine to show you how to essentially grade one of these. This is one of my most prized possessions right here. This is the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, who was played by Liam Neeson in the movies, Batman Begins specifically. I spent, I believe, $250 on this, and in a really good shape, it's about $500. So here we have the book. This is also signed by Neil Adams as well, who's the artist, so increases the value a bit more. Here's the book, and here's how we grade it. So first off, what we want to look for is anything on the cover. So as you can see, that crease right there, that will deface the value of this comic book. You don't want any kind of creases or any really marks, essentially. Usually it could be a printing error, which are very common in comic books. They print about, currently in new comics, they print about anywhere from 100,000 to 500,000 of one book. As you can see here as well, these staples, the staples aren't really perfectly in. They're enough to keep the comic book attached, so that's essentially a good thing. And on the back, as you can see there as well, there's a few creases. That does bring the book down a bit. Right on this side as well, this book in itself is probably 30 years old, so most comic books like these aren't very well taken care of, or they're just going to be like normal books. They will just get old and essentially lose some value in it. So as you can see there, there's some marks there and all that. The next thing about comic books that you want to look at, especially with older comic books like this, is the pages. So as you can see, the book is attached, which automatically makes the book in really good shape. So as you can see, this book, the 40-year-old book, it's gonna be some yellow pages is what they call it. This book is not white pages. White pages mean it's in really good shape, mean it's been taken care of very, very well to a point where white pages mean good. White pages are very, very good. As you can see, that's the actual first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, the character. So that's pretty much a good book. When they do the grading of it, each thing that they have three people, the CGC, the Comic Book Grading Corporation, whenever they grade a comic book, they have three people that grade it. And they go through each and every point by intervals of 2, of 0.2 to be exact. So they start out with 10, and then they go down by 2 each and every time. So right about now, how many times I pointed out a few points each and every time. So I believe yellow pages bring it down about 2 or 3 points, full points, not just 0.2 points. So this is about what we're looking at, is about a 6.6, maybe a 7. So in good shape, just not great shape. Is an example of a comic book that's in really, really bad shape. Here are some points that you can go off of by grading a comic book that's just really bad. As you can see here, this has been folded a lot. A lot. This is torn right here. That's torn as well. And the biggest deciding factor is the cover is not attached. The staples are there, but the cover is just not there. So yeah, as you can see, this comic book is just really, really bad. It's a very low numbered Wonder Woman, but it's just in super, super bad shape. The CGC would grade this as a 0.5, meaning, as you can see, that as well. Wonderful. The CGC would grade this as a 0.5, basing that off of simply the covers detached. They do their grading scale as 10, the highest, a 9.9, and then they go in intervals of 2. So 9.8, 9.6, 9.4, etc. But if, like this, it stops at 1, and then they go straight to 0.5. So, yeah. As you can see, it's yellow pages. It's a cool comic book, but it's just something that should just be kept away in storage because it's just simply in very, very bad shape. There's a stain there. You can see that. Yep. This is an example of a comic book that it would be very, very simple to grade because it's just in such terrible condition. See here, this is the final product of a graded comic book. This is Batman The Dark Knight Returns #1. This is what the comic book movie of Batman v Superman will be based off of. This is a 40-year-old comic book, and as you can see, it's in pretty good shape. The person who had this beforehand took very good care of it before this was graded, and then the CGC, they have 3 people that do the grading for it. One of them looks through the front, one of them looks at the back, and the other looks at the actual pages inside of the comic book. So yeah, as you can see, it's in really good shape, and it's my most prized possession. Here's some stuff as well as this. It's just a case for it, so this can essentially keep it in really good shape for long periods of time as well. Yeah, this is a graded comic book, guys. Looks awesome. So that's how you grade a comic book. Hope you learned something pretty interesting today. It's not easy work, but it's not very difficult if you just really look at it, and most of it's very obvious. Thanks for watching.